I thought everything in my life was perfect. I had Ethan, who I thought loved me unconditionally, Clara, my best friend who knew all my secrets, and Leo, my little brother who always had my back. "Hey, I'm grabbing some coffee, be back in a bit," Ethan called out. But the moment he left the apartment, I heard him mumbling on the phone. "No, you don't understand. I can't, just meet me later," he whispered, his voice low and tense. I froze, my stomach twisting. Why did he sound so guilty? I tried to convince myself it was nothing, but the unease lingered, sharp and persistent. I sat on the couch scrolling through my phone, noticing a pattern I hadn't before. Texts ignored, calls unanswered, evenings when he had to work late. My heart began to pound, a mixture of fear and confusion. Later, I met Clara for lunch, forcing a smile. "You seem off," she said, stirring her tea. "I don't know. I just have this weird feeling about Ethan," I admitted. Clara's eyes softened. "Trust your instincts. Don't ignore it." That night, Leo came home from practice, bounding into the living room. "Hey sis, you okay? You look stressed." I shook my head, unsure how to explain the gnawing worry inside me. "Just tired," I lied. I kept replaying Ethan's hushed conversation in my mind, trying to tell myself I was overreacting, but my gut said otherwise. The next day I texted Ethan, "Hey, free tonight?" No reply. My fingers hovered over the screen again, then I typed, "Everything okay?" Still nothing. The silence was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. I found myself checking his social media, noticing posts I hadn't seen before. Dinners, late-night outings, smiles I didn't recognize. My chest tightened. I confronted him when he finally returned home, trying to sound casual. "Ethan, we need to talk. I feel like something's off." He avoided my gaze. "It's nothing really. Work's been stressful." But his voice lacked conviction, and I knew he was lying. I wanted to scream, to shake him and demand the truth, but I just sat there, letting the silence stretch between us. That night I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling the perfect world I had built crumble around me. I loved him, yet the seed of doubt had been planted, growing with every ignored message, every evasive glance. I realized that life wasn't as simple as I thought, and that unease had a way of creeping in until it consumed you entirely. My thoughts raced and my heart ached with a mix of love, fear, and suspicion. Something had changed, and I wasn't sure if I could ever go back to how things were. I couldn't believe what I saw. My hands shook as I held my phone, staring at the messages between Ethan and someone I didn't know. "I can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you," one read. My chest tightened, my vision blurred. I backed away, whispering to myself, "No, this can't be real." But it was. Every text, every secret emoji, screamed betrayal louder than any shout could. I paced the living room, trying to calm myself, my heart hammering. When Ethan walked in, I barely recognized the man I once loved. "Hey, I thought you'd be asleep. Long day?" he asked casually. I swallowed hard. "Ethan, what is this?" I shoved the phone toward him. He glanced at it, and for a brief moment I thought he might confess, but then he straightened, forcing a calm smile. "It's not what you think," he said. "Who is she?" My voice shook. "Someone at work, just—" "I don't know, a friend," he replied, avoiding my eyes. "A friend texts you like that?" "Ethan, look at me," I demanded. He sighed and leaned back, trying to sound reasonable. "I didn't mean for you to see it. It was nothing serious." "Nothing serious?" I repeated, disbelief dripping from my words. "Do you even hear yourself? You're lying." My hands trembled as I threw the phone on the couch. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. I don't want to hurt you. I made a mistake, okay? That's all." My heart shattered. Mistake? Cheating was not a mistake. It was deliberate. I shook my head, tears spilling. "I trusted you. I gave you everything, and this is what I get." He stepped closer, reaching out. "Please don't do this. I love you." "I love me." I cut him off. "You love me? You talked to her, lied to me, and that's love." My voice rose, raw and bitter. Ethan flinched. I don't know how to fix this. Just please let me explain." I laughed bitterly, the sound hollow. "Explain? How do you explain betrayal? How do you explain destroying someone you claim to love?" My body shook with rage and heartbreak. I can't believe I was so blind. All this time, all the lies. I pressed my hands to my face, my voice breaking. Ethan whispered, I never wanted this to happen. But it was too late. The words meant nothing. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I can't trust you anymore, I said quietly but firmly. You've shown me who you really are. He looked pained, but I couldn't care. I had loved him with everything I had, and now that love felt like ash in my hands. I don't know if we can survive this, he admitted, finally letting a sliver of truth slip. I shook my head. No, Ethan. You've made your choice. I'm done believing in someone who lies to me while pretending to love me. He opened his mouth, but I turned away. My chest ached, my mind screamed, but beneath it all, a cold clarity formed. I deserved better. I had given my heart, and he had thrown it away. My eyes burned, but I knew one thing. I would never let this betrayal define me. I slammed the door behind me, the sound echoing through the empty hallway. I didn't know where I was going, only that I had to get out. My hands were trembling as I fumbled for my phone. Clara, I whispered into the receiver before she could even answer, tears blurring my vision. I don't know what to do. He cheated on me. All those lies, all that pretending. My voice cracked and I buried my face in my hands. Take a deep breath, Amy. I'm here. Tell me everything, Clara said, calm but firm. I told her everything, the messages, his excuses, the way he looked at me like I was nothing. He said it wasn't serious, Clara. Not serious. Can you believe that? I shouted into the phone, pacing the sidewalk outside. Amy, you didn't deserve this. You never did. He lost the only person who actually loved him, Clara said softly, and I felt a sting of relief mixed with anger. I gave him everything, I whispered. Everything, and he threw it away for someone else. My chest tightened and I sank onto the curb, still holding my phone. You're stronger than you think. Don't let him break you. You deserve better, Clara reminded me. I wiped my tears, feeling a flicker of resolve. I can't just forgive him, Clara. I can't. I trusted him with my heart, and he made a mockery of it. My voice grew sharper, filled with rage. I don't know if I want revenge, or if I just want him to feel the weight of what he's done. You don't have to decide yet. Focus on yourself first. Feel. Everything else comes later, Clara said, patient as ever. I swallowed, nodding though she couldn't see me. It's just humiliating. I thought we were happy. I thought we had a future, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. And now? Now I feel like I don't even know who I am without him. You're still you, Amy. And you're amazing. Don't let his betrayal define you, Clara said firmly. I closed my eyes, taking in her words, feeling the tension in my shoulders ease slightly. I know you're right. But I hate him so much right now. I hate that he hurt me, and I hate that I even loved him. Hate can fuel you, but don't let it consume you. Use it to rise, not fall, Clara said. I let out a shaky laugh, bitter and tired. Rise, huh? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll make him regret ever thinking he could break me. That's my girl. Start with yourself, though. Build yourself back up first. The rest will follow. I took a deep breath, the cool night air filling my lungs, and felt a tiny spark of clarity. Clara was right. I was broken now, yes, but I wasn't finished. I would survive this, and maybe, just maybe, I would make sure Ethan understood exactly what he lost. Clara waved me over as we sat at our usual cafe. Amy, I want you to meet someone, she said, her eyes sparkling. I frowned. Someone? Now. I'm not in the mood for people. She rolled her eyes. Trust me. This is different. His name's Nathan, and he's, well, you'll see. A tall guy with a crooked smile approached, holding out his hand. Hey, I'm Nathan. Clara's told me all about you. I hesitated before shaking it. All good things, I hope, I muttered. He chuckled. Mostly, yes. Don't worry, I'm not here to give a lecture. Just a friend. I raised an eyebrow. A friend, huh? Funny, I'm running low on those right now. Nathan leaned back, relaxed. Then consider me an emergency friend. Someone who can distract you, make you laugh, maybe even help you think straight. Clara grinned. See? Told you. I sighed, unsure if I wanted distraction or advice. Nathan waved his hand. Don't worry, no pressure. We just talk. You vent, I listen, maybe I'll throw in a joke or two. I laughed softly, feeling a little lighter. All right, I'll bite. But I warn you, I'm a mess. Perfect. I like messy, he said with a wink. My phone buzzed and I saw a message from Ethan. I miss you. Please can we talk? I felt a pang of anger and longing. I ignored it. Nathan noticed. Bad ex? He asked casually. I groaned. Worst. Cheater extraordinaire. He laughed. Ah, the classic. Don't worry, you'll survive. And when you do, he'll realize what he lost. Guaranteed. I shook my head. I don't know if I want him to realize anything. I just don't want to feel anything for him. Nathan nodded, serious now. You can't force that. But you can protect yourself. Focus on you first. Clara added. That's why I brought him. Nathan gets it. I took a deep breath. Okay, maybe I need this. Some perspective. Some sense of humor to survive the heartbreak. Nathan smirked. I can deliver that. Or at least try. My phone buzzed again. Another gift notification from Ethan. A bouquet. A teddy bear. A note. I was wrong. I love you. I felt the familiar tug at my chest but steeled myself. See that? I said, showing Nathan. He raised an eyebrow. Yup. Classic manipulation 101. Ignore, smile, live your life. I nodded, heart heavy. I want to. It's hard. Nathan leaned forward. Nothing worth feeling easy lasts long. Let the hard make you stronger. I laughed softly. You're annoyingly wise for someone I just met. He grinned. Thank you. I try. Clara nudged me. See? Told you. He's good for you. I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe I could survive this. Maybe I could even learn to laugh again. I looked at Nathan and smiled genuinely this time. All right, emergency friend. Let's see if you can keep me sane. He raised his coffee cup. Challenge accepted. I sat on my bed, phone in hand, scrolling through Ethan's messages again. I can't believe I trusted him. I whispered to myself. Clara had told me to focus on myself, but my mind kept circling back to him. Amy, you're still thinking about him. Nathan had said earlier, and I felt a pang of guilt. But how could I not? I loved him even as he betrayed me. I pulled up the photos I'd secretly saved. Ethan with her laughing like I didn't exist. My fingers trembled as I considered what I could do. Should I just let him be? Or make him feel what I felt? I muttered. The moral question twisted inside me. I wanted justice, but I didn't want to lose myself in revenge. I texted Clara. Do you think I should expose him? Or walk away silently? Her reply was instant. Walk away if you can, but if you want him to face reality, do it smart. I chewed my lip, my chest tight. I knew I could ruin him, but part of me hesitated. He'd hurt me, but I didn't want to stoop to his level entirely. I started gathering everything, screenshots, photos, witness statements from friends who had seen him sneaking around. My heart raced with every new piece of proof. If I do this, there's no turning back, I whispered. The apartment felt suffocating. My phone buzzed. Another message from Ethan. I miss you. Please, Amy. I laughed bitterly. You can't just fix this with words, I muttered. I opened my notebook, jotting down what I'd need to make a plan. Timing, witnesses, evidence, I wanted it to be undeniable, precise. I thought about how it would feel to see him caught, the shock on his face. And yet, a part of me longed for him to regret it without my interference, to feel karma naturally. I pressed my hands to my face. I can't let love cloud my judgment, I whispered. Then I paused, breathing deeply, thinking of Nathan's words. Use the anger, don't let it use you. I nodded to myself, feeling a spark of clarity. I'll do this carefully, I said aloud. I won't ruin myself in the process. I began drafting messages to friends who could corroborate my story, carefully framing questions so that no one would suspect my intention. I saved all the screenshots in a secure folder, backing up every piece of evidence. My heart pounded with anticipation and fear. This could change everything, I muttered. The line between justice and revenge blurred in my mind, but I kept reminding myself. I wasn't doing this for cruelty. I was doing it to reclaim control, to stop feeling powerless. My eyes landed on the final photo, Ethan smiling with her. And I felt a mix of rage and sadness, remembering the love I once felt. I clenched my fists. I won't let this destroy me. He'll face reality, but I'll stay intact. The seed of revenge was planted, but so was my resolve. I would act but carefully. I would be the one in control, and for the first time in weeks I felt a flicker of power that wasn't tied to him. I was going over my plan again when Leo barged into my room, eyes wide. "Amy, what are you doing?" he demanded, grabbing the folder I'd been organizing. "Leo, it's nothing, just organizing," I lied, trying to sound casual. He frowned. "This looks like plotting. Are you seriously thinking about revenge?" I hesitated, my hands freezing on the papers. I don't know. Maybe. He hurt me, Leo. I trusted him. He shook his head, pacing. "Amy, I get it. I'm angry too, but this could ruin you. Think carefully before you do something you'll regret." I sighed, running a hand through my hair. "I know, but I just feel so powerless. I want him to face what he's done." He stopped pacing and knelt beside me. "You have power already. Don't let this hate control you. You're smarter than that." I swallowed hard, the weight of his words settling on me. Maybe you're right. I don't want him to get away with it. Later I met Nathan at our cafe. "You look stressed," he said, sliding into the booth across from me. "You have no idea," I muttered, staring at my coffee. "I'm trying to. I don't know. Plan things. Make him pay." Nathan shook his head slowly. "Amy, revenge isn't always the answer. Sometimes patience, focus on yourself, and letting karma do the work is stronger." I frowned. But how do I stop myself from feeling powerless? I want him to see what he lost. Nathan leaned back, calm as ever. "You're not powerless. Every step you take to grow, to reclaim yourself, weakens him without you touching him directly. Focus on your life, your strength. That's real power." I considered his words, feeling a shift inside me. "So, I let him stumble naturally while I get stronger." He nodded. "Exactly. Be strategic, not destructive. Let your success and clarity be your revenge." My phone buzzed. It was Ethan. I froze, my pulse racing. I didn't open it. Nathan noticed. "Bad timing," I whispered. "Yeah, he's not supposed to know where I am, but..." I trailed off, the fear knotting in my stomach. "He's unpredictable." Nathan put a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "Then be ready. Keep your focus. Don't let him shake you." Later that afternoon, I went to my favorite cafe to clear my mind. The bell above the door jingled and I glanced up. My heart stopped. Ethan, standing there, smiling innocently as if he belonged. "Amy, hey, fancy seeing you here," he said casually, his tone light. I gripped my coffee cup, my knuckles white. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice low. He shrugged, still smiling. "Just grabbing a coffee. Didn't expect to run into you." My stomach twisted. Every word, every gesture screamed manipulation, but he wore the mask so well. I clenched my teeth, refusing to let him see my fear. "Right," I said, my voice steady. I could feel Nathan's advice echoing in my mind. Strategic karma, not chaos. But seeing him here unannounced made my pulse spike. I knew this wasn't a coincidence. My mind raced. Had he followed me, or was it just chance? Either way, I had to stay composed. I watched from across the street as Ethan walked into the office building, his tie crooked and his face tight with concentration. I bit my lip, trying not to smirk. "Not too obvious, Amy," I whispered to myself. The tip I sent his boss had to be anonymous, subtle but effective. I checked my phone again. Nothing had happened yet, but I knew it was only a matter of time. When Nathan texted, "Feeling powerful yet?" I laughed quietly. "A little," I typed back, but mixed with guilt. I knew what I was doing was petty, but it was also satisfying. I remembered every lie, every deceitful glance Ethan had given me. I deserved to see him falter. My phone buzzed again, Clara checking in. "Everything okay?" I typed back quickly, "Yes. Just watching karma in action." Later, I was at the cafe, trying to enjoy a coffee, when a news notification popped up. "Ethan faces internal investigation after misconduct reports surface." My chest tightened, a mix of triumph and unease flooding me. I hadn't expected it to hit this fast. I shook my head, whispering, "This is happening, he's finally going to pay." Across the cafe, someone whispered my name. I turned and saw a mutual acquaintance staring at me, nodding toward a photo in the paper. They had captured Ethan with his new lover, clearly in public, clearly unashamed. I froze. My heart raced as I realized the irony. I had exposed him professionally, and now his personal indiscretions were on display for everyone I knew. I can't believe it, I murmured. Nathan leaned over from the booth next to mine. What is it? I showed him the photo. He whistled softly. Well, that's one way for karma to work. I nodded, biting the inside of my cheek. It's humiliating for him but also for me in a weird way. Seeing it all laid out. My fingers trembled slightly as I sipped my coffee. I thought I'd feel only satisfaction, but there's this guilt. Did I push too far? Nathan shrugged. You nudged it, Amy. Life did the rest. You're not responsible for his choices. I took a deep breath, trying to absorb his words. Still, I felt a thrill as I imagined him scrambling, trying to cover his mistakes, fumbling through meetings, worried colleagues whispering behind his back. My lips curled slightly. He looks so confident, yet he's crumbling without anyone realizing it. I whispered. Nathan smirked. That's the beauty of subtle karma. You get the results without dirtying your hands. I left the cafe, glancing at Ethan's building from a distance. The thought of him walking in, unaware that the walls were closing in, made my chest tighten with a peculiar combination of relief and vindication. I wanted him to understand somehow that every lie, every betrayal came with consequences. Later, Clara texted me. Saw the news. He's in trouble. I smiled faintly, replying, I know. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. My phone buzzed again and I glanced at it. Another photo had surfaced online, him with her, both looking shocked as a passerby snapped the picture. I felt my stomach twist with a mix of satisfaction and lingering pain. He was crumbling and yet my heart ached in strange ways. I whispered to myself as I walked home. This is only the beginning, Ethan. Karma is slow, but it's inevitable. I clenched my fists, feeling the last pieces of my rage and hurt start to settle. For the first time in weeks, I felt a cautious sense of power, tempered with awareness that my own heart was still fragile, still learning to heal. But one thing was certain, I was no longer powerless, and he would soon realize exactly what he had lost. Word count: 650. I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, tracing the lines on my face with my fingers. Is this really me? I whispered. My heart still ached when I thought of Ethan, and I hated that it did. I sank onto the edge of the tub, my phone buzzing. It was Nathan. How are you holding up? I typed back quickly, not great. I keep thinking about him and I hate myself for it. His reply came almost instantly. You're allowed to feel, but don't let it control you. Focus on yourself first. I sighed. Focus on myself? Easier said than done. Later I met Claire at the park. She handed me a coffee, eyes soft. Amy, don't let bitterness eat you alive. I know it's tempting, but healing matters more than hate. I frowned, stirring the coffee absent-mindedly. I try, Clara, but every time I see his name or hear about him, it twists my stomach. She reached over, squeezing my hand. That's normal. Just don't let it define you. Find something that makes you happy again. I nodded, though the ache lingered. Nathan called later, and his voice felt like a lifeline. Have you tried something new? Something just for you. I bit my lip. I started painting. Not for anyone, not for a gallery, just for me. It helps a little. He chuckled softly. That's perfect. You need to fill your heart with things that belong only to you. I smiled faintly. It's strange. I feel peaceful when I paint. Yet the moment I stop, he sneaks back into my thoughts. Nathan laughed. Old habits die hard. But every stroke you make is reclaiming yourself. Keep going. I paused later that evening, looking at a half-finished canvas. Am I changing? I whispered to myself. Am I becoming someone I don't recognize? The memories of Ethan, his smiles, his lies, the betrayal, tangled with the faint thrill I felt from my tiny victories over him. My chest felt tight. I wanted to hate him completely, but my heart refused. I texted Clara. Do you think it's bad that I still think about him? She replied, it's not bad. It's human. Just don't let it stop you from living. I picked up my brush again, and each stroke felt like a step away from the heartbreak. Nathan's words echoed. Focus on you. Let the world adjust to your strength. I laughed softly at how strange it felt to find peace in colors and shapes while chaos swirled in my heart. My phone buzzed. Another message from Ethan. I stared at it for a moment, resisting the urge to read. Then I deleted it. My chest ached, but I felt stronger finally. I whispered to myself, I can't control him, but I can control me. Clara called that night. How's the painting? She asked. Good, calming. But I still think about him, I admitted. She sighed gently. You're healing, Amy. Remember that. Feeling him sometimes doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. I nodded, holding the brush in my hand. I'm learning to be human again on my own terms. Nathan's advice, Clara's support, and my own determination all mingled together. I still missed him, yes, but I was starting to reclaim pieces of myself I thought he had destroyed. I saw the news online first, my heart skipping a beat. Ethan suspended pending investigation. I stared at the screen, fingers trembling slightly. My first instinct was satisfaction, but it mingled with a flicker of guilt. I hadn't expected to feel anything other than triumph. My phone buzzed and I froze. A message from him. Amy, please, we need to talk. I can fix this. I'll do anything. I stared at it, my chest tight. I wanted to delete it immediately, but a small part of me hesitated. Nathan's words echoed, stay firm. You've earned your power. I typed back, I can't talk, Ethan. You made your choice. Later, Clara called. Amy, I saw the news. Is it true? She asked. I exhaled slowly. Yeah, it's all catching up to him. I didn't have to do much. Just waited. Clara laughed softly. You're stronger than I thought. But don't let it consume you. Remember why you're here, to heal, not to crush him. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. I know. It's strange. I feel victorious but also weirdly sorry. My phone buzzed again. Another message. I never wanted this to happen. I'll do anything to make it right. I felt my pulse quicken, a mix of anger and pity flooding me. Anything. I muttered aloud. Do you know what that even means after everything? I set the phone down, running a hand through my hair. My reflection in the black screen stared back at me, strong and steady. For the first time, I realized the power shift was real. I wasn't the broken one anymore, he was. That evening, I met Nathan at the cafe. You look different, he said, sliding into the booth. Stronger, I admitted. He's crumbling and I'm not afraid of him anymore. Nathan nodded. That's good. You've reclaimed yourself. Let him deal with his own chaos. I glanced down at my phone again. A new notification from a friend. Ethan tried contacting us all. Everyone's turning on him. A small, almost cruel smile tugged at my lips. I never realized how isolating lies could be until I saw it happening to him. Nathan leaned back, calm as ever. That's the point. Karma doesn't need your interference. It just catches up. I walked home slowly, thinking about everything. His friends, his colleagues, even the people he manipulated for work were stepping back. The humiliation was mounting, and I felt a strange mixture of triumph and unexpected pity. I don't hate him entirely, I whispered to myself, but I'm not vulnerable to him either. I opened my journal and scribbled down my thoughts, feeling the weight lift slightly. Later that night, another message from him appeared. Amy, I beg you, just one conversation. I stared at it, my fingers hovering over the screen. No, I said firmly. Not tonight. Not ever, if I can help it. My chest ached with residual pain, but beneath it, a calm satisfaction settled in. I was no longer the one broken by betrayal. He was exposed, vulnerable, and powerless to change what had happened. I whispered to myself as I turned off my phone. This is what power feels like. Pain fades, but truth lasts. And for the first time in weeks, I felt in control of my life, my heart, and my destiny. My phone rang, and when I saw Clara's name, I smiled automatically. But the moment I answered, her voice wasn't there. Instead, it was Leo, panicked. Amy, you need to come to the hospital. Clara, she had an accident. I froze, my coffee slipping from my hand. What? What happened? I shouted. She fell. The doctor said it's serious. You need to get here. My chest tightened as I threw my bag over my shoulder and ran out. I called Nathan immediately. Nathan. Clara, she's in the hospital, I gasped. Breathe, Amy. I'm on my way, he said calmly. His voice anchored me, but my mind was spinning. At the hospital, Leo met me at the entrance. She's stable now, but they're keeping her in observation. You okay? I shook my head, tears spilling. I can't believe this. It's not fair. He wrapped an arm around me. Life isn't fair, sis. You can't control it, no matter how much you want to. I buried my face in his shoulder. I feel so useless. I should have been there. I should have. Nathan appeared beside us, placing a hand on my back. Amy, stop blaming yourself. You can't predict accidents. What matters is that she's alive and she has you now. I nodded, wiping my tears. His calm presence steadied me, but the ache in my chest remained. Hours passed. Clara was in surgery, and I paced the waiting room, my thoughts racing. Why now? I whispered to myself. After everything. I thought I could finally breathe. Nathan sat down beside me. I know this feels like another betrayal from life, but it's not. It's just life. Messy, unpredictable, harsh. But you're strong enough to face it. I took a shaky breath. I can't handle losing her. She's been my anchor through all of this. Nathan nodded. Then hold on to that. Focus on what you can do. Support her, stay present, keep breathing. One step at a time. I felt my body relax slightly, comforted by his words. Leo's phone buzzed. They finished surgery. Claire's going to be okay. She'll need time, but she's stable. I exhaled, relief washing over me. Tears ran freely as I whispered, "Thank God, thank God." Nathan squeezed my hand. See? We get through the storm. Together. I nodded, feeling a mix of exhaustion and gratitude. Later, sitting by Clara's hospital bed, I watched her breathing steady under the machines. "I'm so sorry I wasn't there," I whispered, brushing a strand of hair from her face. She stirred, mumbling softly, and I felt a flicker of hope. Nathan's voice came quietly from behind me. "You did what you could. That's enough. Let her heal and let yourself heal too." I nodded, feeling the weight of fear and helplessness lift slightly. I realized life wasn't just about betrayal, heartbreak, or revenge. It was fragile, unpredictable, and demanded resilience. I took a deep breath, glancing at Clara's peaceful face. "We're going to get through this," I said, voice steady. Nathan's hand rested lightly on my shoulder, grounding me. For the first time in hours, I felt a cautious strength rise within me. No matter what happened, I could survive. I would survive. I sat on the balcony, the evening air cool against my skin, and let out a long sigh. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Ethan. "Amy, please, can we talk? I've changed. I was wrong." I stared at it, my chest tightening, but I didn't open it. I didn't need to. I realized something then. Peace was more important than proving anything to him. I whispered to myself, "It's over. I'm done letting him control my heart." Clara called just as the sun dipped below the horizon. "Hey, you sound calm," she said, her voice gentle. I smiled softly even though she couldn't see me. "I think I finally am. I've been holding on to anger and heartbreak for months, and it's exhausting. I'm choosing me, Clara. I'm done with him." She laughed softly. "About time, Amy. You deserve your own happiness, not someone else's lies." Later, Nathan met me at the park, coffee in hand. "You seem different," he said, sliding the cup across the table. "Stronger," I admitted. "I've been through heartbreak, revenge, and anger, and I've survived. I can survive anything now." He nodded, smiling. "That's what I wanted to hear. You're reclaiming yourself, not just reacting." I stirred my coffee, thinking about how far I'd come. I used to think forgiveness meant weakness, but now I realize letting go is the strongest thing I can do. I don't need to prove anything to him, or anyone. Walking home later, I thought about every moment that had led me here. The betrayal, the heartbreak, even Ethan's desperate attempts to manipulate me back. Each had left scars, but also taught me something invaluable. I whispered to myself, "I am stronger than my pain. I am wiser. I am enough." The city lights twinkled below me, and for the first time in months, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. When I reached my apartment, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Ethan. "Amy, please." I stared at the screen, my finger hovering above it, then shook my head. I didn't even open it. I typed instead to myself, He no longer has power over me. I placed the phone on the table, letting it rest silently, unread. I poured myself a cup of tea and sat by the window, watching the stars emerge one by one. My thoughts drifted to Clara, to Nathan, to Leo, to myself. I realized that healing wasn't about revenge or proving I was right. It was about reclaiming my heart, my mind, my life. I whispered softly, "I'm free now. Truly free." A gentle breeze brushed my face, carrying with it a sense of closure I hadn't felt in months. I allowed myself to smile, faint but real, as if the universe itself acknowledged my strength. "I walked through fire," I said quietly, "and I came out whole." I felt my chest lift with pride, a calm determination filling me. No messages, no past pain, no betrayal. Nothing could take this sense of self away. I was done with him and finally fully with me. I leaned back, letting the night settle around me, and whispered one last time, "Goodbye, Ethan. I hope someday you understand, but I don't need to wait for it. I'm walking away, and this time I'm never looking back." I sat at my desk, pen in hand, staring at the blank page. The apartment was quiet, the soft hum of the city outside my window filling the silence. "Okay, Amy. Let's do this," I whispered, as if talking to someone else but really talking to myself. I began writing, each word a release, a reminder of how far I'd come. "Dear me," I scribbled, "this is the moment you reclaim your life. No more heartbreak, no more lies, no more pretending someone else controls your happiness." I paused, glancing at the photos on my wall. Clara smiling after her recovery, Leo waving at me from last week's dinner, Nathan's crooked grin from our last coffee. I smiled softly. "I've got people who care," I muttered. I wrote again, "You are stronger than the pain you endured. You survived betrayal, heartbreak, and loss. You learned that your heart is yours to protect, your mind yours to free." My phone buzzed. It was Nathan. "Coffee later?" I typed back quickly, "Yes. Need to celebrate surviving life lately." I laughed softly. I had a new perspective now. Life wasn't about clinging to the past or seeking revenge. It was about building, growing, and finding joy in the small moments. I continued the letter. "And to him, Ethan, know this. I no longer carry anger or longing. Your lies and your betrayal have taught me the value of my own strength. I forgive myself for ever giving you power over my heart." I set the pen down, letting the words settle. For the first time, I felt fully in control, fully whole. The doorbell rang, and I smiled when Nathan's familiar voice called out, "Hey, survivor. Mind if I come in?" I opened the door, and we exchanged a playful grin. "Not at all," I said. He stepped in, holding a small potted plant. "For new beginnings," he said, placing it on my windowsill. I laughed softly. "Perfect. Something to remind me growth is possible." We sat by the window, sipping coffee, watching the city lights shimmer. I felt a lightness in my chest I hadn't felt in months. Nathan's presence was comforting, familiar, and yet there was a subtle tension, a hint of possibility that made me smile. "I think I'm ready," I admitted. "Ready to stop looking back and start living forward." He nodded. "You've come a long way, Amy. And if you ever need a reminder of how strong you are, I'll be around." I felt warmth in my chest, a mixture of gratitude and something else, hope. Hope for friendship, for laughter, for maybe even more. I picked up my pen one last time and added a closing to my letter. "Here's to new beginnings, to growth, to life lived on my terms. I am free, I am whole, and I am ready for whatever comes next." I folded the paper, placing it in my drawer as a symbol of closure. I whispered softly, almost to myself, "Goodbye, past. Hello, future." And as I looked at the city skyline, a smile spread across my face. I was no longer the girl broken by betrayal. I was me, stronger, wiser, and finally truly free.